You gotta stand in?
You doubling it in? That's your Grizzly president.
Yeah.
Everybody's ready?
Mr.
Right.
Hardaway, once again, you have a player named to the Freshman Player of the Week. You guys pretty much dominating these awards this year, aren't you?
Well, I mean, it's just a testament to their hard work. You know, Boogie, Lester, Precious, even DJ James, all those guys, man, those freshmen, Damian, they're all just in the gym all the time. They're always working, they're grinding, and the hard work is paying off.
The way it's kind of over the 2 wins you got last week, the way it kind of came together and it just looked better than it had at the beginning of the season. Was that, let's say, surprise? Like, what do you credit that to? Was there moments in practice where you could see that coming, or did it happen in the game, in the moment of the game? Like, how would you describe that?
It happens during film session because we're very detailed on what we show, and we showed like some areas that we had to get better in right away, and that we couldn't wait on. Some things, you know, it's gonna be experience is the best teacher, but some things we just weren't really focusing on that we needed to focus on more and kind of put the guys in that mindset. And those are the things that started changing, and then the game plan was easier for them to kind of accomplish.
What would you? Any specific things you were really harping on them?
Yeah, just our game plan discipline was really big. How we played pick and roll was big for us. How we wouldn't leave the what we call hot guys versus non-hot guys. Recognizing that the spacing on the offensive end, the way that we share the basketball, less ISOs and more moving the ball from side to side. So all those things started happening. And then we had, the turnover deal, we kind of lowered that a little bit, but we still got to work on that. We still got to protect the basketball.
There was skepticism sort of before the year that these stars could buy in. You get them here, but can they buy in? Obviously, in some ways, it helps the rotation because you're missing some players. But it seems like everybody has bought in.
Yeah, I think early on, you're going to get guys trying to figure out their games because you got all these quote-unquote superstars that were on their high schools last year, all having to mesh together now and become almost role players with minutes, with shots and everything. And it was hard early, but it's easier, like you said, moving on down the line because James is out and now Lester's out. Now it's a tighter rotation. Now guys can kind of get used to what they're doing, and it's helping them.
Does it help, though? I mean, that you've got a guy like Alo who's apparently willing to do anything. Tyler, it feels like, is adjusted to his role. Is that true?
It definitely does help to have Alo and Tyler, especially Alo because he's played for me since 6th grade. He understands my system and he's very calm out there. We need that calming spirit over the basketball team because we're very young and we're antsy and we're too fast sometimes. And then with Tyler coming off the bench with Alo, they're very comfortable together. They have a lot of pride about themselves, being from the city and knowing what this means. So that definitely helps us out in a lot of ways.
You got Lester going out, but then you got Malcolm Dandridge playing his first game in I think 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about his performance, and what will he bring to the rotation now that Lester's
I think it was a win-win for Malcolm to be out there on the floor. Obviously, he's not himself yet. It was an unfair situation to put him out there. He wanted to be out there so bad, and he was ready to go. But to put him in on Thanksgiving on national TV against an ACC opponent was a lot to ask for. His nerves got the best of him, but he still did really well. And I think the things that he's going to do for us is protect the rim, rebound the basketball, and finish around the rim. So, excited to have him back.
Penny, I know that you had even said that you thought it might take a little while with losing James, and now Lester to kind of have this team find its collective niche. Are you at all surprised that effectively over these first couple of games it seems that it's not taking maybe as long as you may have thought it would take, that they seem to be doing well right away?
I'm not surprised because they're taking to the film. The film sessions have been the biggest teachers, and they're carrying it over into practice, and then it's leading over into the game. So I'm not surprised in that aspect. We're still making some mistakes, but for the most part, everything that we're doing right now with these guys is like heading in the right direction because what we're teaching, they're grasping really quickly.
How dip in production for DJ? Was that more what they were doing? Is it him?
No, DJ is just he's just a kid that he's not out there searching for anything. He's just playing basketball and wanting to win. Obviously, as a coach, I want him to shoot the ball more because he's so dynamic and have to do a better job of getting them shots. But he's not the guy that's looking for that. He just wants to go out there and win. He just plays the game the right way.
Because of the attention that James draws, a lot of people have divided the season into before January 12th and after January 12th. Do you guys think of it that way, or do you think of it sort of different?
Well, obviously you have to think about it in this stretch because it's an important time for the rest of the guys to really just chill and come together and try to play good basketball and build that chemistry moving up. And then, you know, in those games, and then when James comes back, you have to get everybody back acclimated. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, the chemistry's going to be better. We're going to be a better team with him on the floor. Then you have to get the chemistry down with him on the floor with the rest of the guys. So, yeah, you can look at it in segments like that because that's where we are right now. And the team is up for the challenge because we have a deep team and we're showing it.
Hey, you got two former Memphians coming back to home to play. You know both of them very well. What are you gonna do to make sure they don't have a career day against you, man?
Oh my God! Obviously, Darryl Brown. You know, me and his father have been friends forever before he was born, and kind of a godfather to Darryl. He played for me at AAU and watched him grow throughout the game, and has had an unbelievable career at Bradley. His last year, he's the leader. He's going to want to come in and have a huge game. He's probably going to have 20, 30 tickets, screaming fans with red on. But, you know, definitely proud of his growth, but I don't know about tomorrow. Antonio is another player that I've seen grow from a very early age. I went to high school with his father. So with both of those guys coming back, they're going to be very hyped to do well and try to get a victory here.
Penny, how proud of you are you? This, you know, this team has been dealt with so many distractions. It seems every day with something else. For a veteran-laden team, it might have been difficult to deal with, and yet it seems that these guys, you know, they've been in the spotlight so long, it doesn't seem like anything really phases them. It's just, look, let's get the job done.
Very proud. You know, like you said, a very young team, but there's a, you know, with them being stars on their teams and being on USA Basketball and playing on these top leagues in the summertime, they're used to the scrutiny and some of the negativity. Not on this level, of course, but it seems like they've just handled it well. They've support James as a brother, but they know that they still have a job to do.
I know Lester was like dressed, he was taking the one-handed shots. Like, does that mean he's coming back sooner rather than later, or is that just?
No, it's just him just trying to stay active. You know, he's still going to have to, you know, the injury's going to have to take its course on healing. He just wants to be out there so badly. You can't hold him down. He's just going to be out there dribbling the ball, left-handed, shooting left-handed shots.
What's James doing? Tell us about his practice time and how hard is he going? And is he one of those guys that's maybe checking off all the days on a calendar box until the 12th?
Yeah, me knowing him, obviously in practice, we put him on the second team. You know, we'll have him with the first team for a while, and then we'll put him on the second team so that Lance and Isaiah Maurice could get reps with the starters. But he's playing as hard as anybody. You know, that's just what he does. And then he's getting some extra time to rest his ankle because he does still have some little knickknacks with his ankle. But other than that, man, I can just tell the fire's in his eyes and raring to go when January 12th comes around.
You mentioned watching film with these guys. Obviously, it's an important part of just how you coach. When you were a player, were you someone who embraced film, like extensive film review right away? Was it something a coach?
Yeah, I was a student of the game. I always wanted to see where we could get better, where I could get better first, because I was a leader of the team, and then where we could get better as a team. And we already had a lot of guys that were just had so much pride in how we played that we wanted to see where we went wrong, or if we lost the game, how did we lose it? What happened to the game plan discipline? So I was always a student of the game and wanted to watch film.
Even at like Treadwell? Did you?
No, I didn't do it at Treadwell,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when I got to college, definitely
Was Larry a
started
film
watching.
guy? Was Larry?
He wasn't a huge film guy. He wasn't a huge film guy, but I watched film.
Which one of the current players likes to watch film the most?
Who would like that? I would say a lot of them do. A lot of the young guys do. Precious, he and I watch film out there every game. Boogie, Damian, Alo, Todd. Really, everybody gets their turn to watch. But I think the guys that like to watch the most are guys like Boogie and Precious. They want to see what's going on. They want to see where they can get better. Sure.
Was there any skepticism with Precious and his raw talent translating to this level? And if so, obviously he's sort of putting that to bed.
Well, I think when he came in, you know, all he heard was that he was a 5, he was a 4, he couldn't play the guard position. And I think that kind of hurt his feelings because obviously kids would feel like I'm much better than you're giving me credit for. So I think in some cases he tried to show more of that side versus just playing the game and allowing the game to come to him. I think now he's more comfortable. I don't know if it's because James is out and now he feels more comfortable, but he's kind of every game, he's just kind of relaxing and going out there and letting the game come to him and not trying to attack it from a guard's point of view to show the NBA scouts that he can shoot threes and handle the ball. I think he's just playing the game to win.
He did some of that against NC State, though. He went coast to coast, the three. Do you like that when he does that?
No, I do. I encourage that. I don't try to tell any of our players not to. You know, if you can handle the ball, you're going to be able to get the rebound and push. That makes us faster. So I'm okay with him doing that. What I challenge him on is making the right decision when he does that.
Where does he still need? Where does he still have strides to make?
Well, obviously, you know, his free throw thing is kind of getting the best of him, and I think he's a better shooter than what he shows from the foul line. It just starts to get on him mentally. Defensively, he's awesome. Offensively, I think that moving without the basketball, I think that one dribble pull-up and two dribble pull-up is a lot of what we're working on right now because people are going to space him and not try to impact the paint and not let him drive. And then attacking the glass, offensively and defensively, lead him in double-figure rebounds every night.
What would you say the reason for Boogie's shots all of a sudden starting to fall this last game? Was it a conversation you had with him, something in practice? Or?
I think it's rest. I think he was forced to rest because Boogie's in the gym all day, every day. He's a guy that wants to be in there all the time, and you open the gym door up, he's in there. And I think he wears himself out trying to be perfect in an imperfect game. So I think the biggest thing for him, he works hard. His hard work actually paid off, but he actually rested for 2 days, and that made his legs fresher for sure.
One of the things that he stands out these last 2 games is that you've had big leads and then they've been trimmed way down. What's the teaching point? How do you get it to keep, go from 15 to 25 instead of seeing it go 15 to 2?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest deal with young teams because they think the game is over when they get up 20 points. And the team makes a run, you stop playing defense, you start trying to play hero ball. So what got you the lead was sharing the basketball, running, moving it, rebounding, getting layups. And then all of a sudden when the team starts to come back, now you start turning it over, start taking bad shots, and then you don't get back on defense. So I think the biggest thing with us is when we get into that mode where we get up, now we have to execute more. Now we have to screen better. Now we have to take good shots and then cover the backcourt. So that's what starts to happen.
Hey, what's on your Christmas wish list? It's the season for giving. What's your Christmas wish list?
I don't know, man. I'm blessed enough for Christmas to be every day. So I am. I'm thankful for that because, I don't want for anything. So I don't know if I have a wish list yet. I know that's crazy, but,
3 5-stars?
Huh?
3 5-stars?
Hey, I'll take that for sure. But honestly, I can't. Maybe ask me in about a week.
Time for one more.
How happy was, from your point of view, was Precious to get back home and get some regular pizza?
Yeah, it was. I think he was very happy to get back home. He had a huge fan base. He and Lester both. I felt sorry for Lester because he broke his hand right before going back home. But for Precious, I was happy because he played well and got a victory in front of his friends and family.
One last thing. It was announced you're going to go to the Bahamas next year in a pretty loaded field. What was? Was that something you just? This is part of the scheduling philosophy you've had of trying to play the best teams? What interested you in that?
For us, early in the season, it's about playing against the tougher teams. And I do think, just to talk about that, but going back, playing Oregon earlier got us prepared to play Ole Miss, got us prepared to play North Carolina State. So those games are never losses. If you lose those games, they're always learns. It's wins and learns. So I see the teams that are playing those tournaments, and man, they're learning from that. So you get into a field like that with all those great teams, and you want to come out there victorious and win the entire thing. But if you don't, you'll learn from that moving forward for sure.